Today's topic of discussion is honesty is the best policy. So if you look at today's society, right, you've got a bunch of people who are dishonest, disloyal, and guys who are effectively just putting on a front and an image. There's no sense of loyalty and trust anymore. So we're going to be discussing some key points in terms of why honesty is the best policy in life and how you can apply that to your relationships. So first point is character. Now, a person who has got a strong moral compass, he's got good character, that person there is going to attract good energy. The problem is in today's society, you've got a bunch of guys putting on a front. So you've got men trying to lead with money, status, fame, trying their best to put on this fake lifestyle and this so-called, 10k a month lifestyle, you name it. And then you've got women putting on makeup, dressing in all these dirty outfits, getting all these operations done, lip injections, boob jobs, bum jobs, you name it. Just doing all types of stuff. That right there doesn't create anything but a disloyal relationship. A relationship which is built upon dishonesty. So you as a person, right? You as a man, anytime you're coming across a woman and then you're speaking to her for marriage purposes, you want to make sure to be honest at all times. Because later on down the line, if you told her a one little white lie, it's going to come back to bite you. That's what's going to happen. Do you understand? It's like these lies, they end up building up. Because that's what happens with these people. These people here, what they'll do is start off with a small lie, and then, week, 2 weeks goes by, and then they end up having to repeat the same lie again. And then a couple of weeks go by again. And then they, let's say the same lie. Eventually gets to the point when the person gets caught out. Do you understand? So it's really important. Anytime you're dealing with anyone, you want to make sure to put your best foot forward and tell them, look, this is what it is. This is who I am as a person. It's either you're somebody who reciprocates that same level of respect, or you don't. You're not here to waste time with people. So if, for example, you're saying to a woman that, I want somebody who has a strong connection with God. And then you're somebody who's not praying. And then she's asking you, oh yeah, do you pray? And she said, and then you say to her, nah, I pray some of my prayers, but you're not praying any. It's only going to get to a point where, let's say you get into a relationship and then she sees that you don't pray, and it's like, big red flag. So then the person thinks, okay, what else has this person been hiding? So your character is just getting deteriorated day by day. You get found out. But if you're honest from the get-go and say to her, let's say your connection with God isn't the best, and then you tell her, look, I'm praying some of my prayers, or I'm praying majority of my prayers. She could still respect that and be like, you know what, this guy here, he was honest. Everyone's on their own journey in life. Do you understand? So when you're honest with all people in life, so any people who you're working with, if you're honest and sincere with them, you're much more likely to form healthy relationships. As soon as you start to lie to people, you start to become dishonest, guess what? you're going to form unhealthy relationships. People aren't going to look at you the same. They're going to think, this guy here, everyone knows certain guys like that. Like you guys who are watching this, you know certain people at work, for example, who just chat BS, chat rubbish. They're just full of crap. They say one thing, but they do something else. That's why it's so important that your words match your actions. If you're not trying to take the action, don't bother saying anything related to it. A woman's respect will go up when she sees that this guy here, his actions match his words, and he's actually heading towards the right direction. He's actually moving forward. He's not just saying, oh yeah, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. He's actually got a track record of achieving certain things in life. So next point is genuine. You're much more likely to form genuine relationships when you're honest, because when you're honest and sincere with people are likely to reciprocate that back with you. As soon as you're being dishonest, as soon as you're somebody who's just putting on a front, you're just all about stunting, trying to show off, that person there is disliked by other people. He may get attention in the short period of time, but in the long run, watch that person fall off. So let's say you're speaking to a woman for marriage purposes, and then you're telling her, look, this is what I'm expecting from a wife, this is what I see as a relationship. When you're telling her, look, I want you to prioritize family and children, and I want you to support me on my purpose and mission. If you tell her that, and then she agrees with it, then you're later on in a relationship, let's say you get married, she knows that, okay, this is what he said from the beginning. But certain times, right, you got guys, they're saying, oh yeah, I want you to raise the children and then, let's say, take care of the household chores, but he tells her that after marriage rather than before. That's what creates problems, because this guy here wasn't genuine from the beginning. Because if you're a genuine guy, you tell the person from the get-go. You're not scared of losing the person. And that's what it goes back to. It just goes back to just cowardice behavior. People have got cowardice behavior. They're not straight and direct. If you're not going to be straight and direct in life, don't expect to get good results. And for people to be honest and direct with you. It's a two-way process. You have to be honest and you have to be genuine in order to get genuine relationships. So, next point is take it or leave it. So, you take it or leave it mentality. When people see that this guy here, he's straight and direct, he's not trying to entertain foolishness, tells a woman from the get-go, this is my requirements, this is my checklist. It's either you're happy with it, it's either you agree with it or you don't. If you don't agree with it, move on. Talk to another woman. That's what it just goes back to, just having that mindset, abundance mindset. Knowing that if this person here isn't compatible with you, someone else will be. So one of my friends at work, Joe, right? Shout out to Joe, real OG. This guy here, he'd tell me the same thing. So let's say we're talking about relationships. He's saying that you could be the ugliest guy out there. There's always someone for you. Do you understand? There's always someone out there for you. You could be whoever. You could be somebody who's just, ain't got nothing going for yourself. There's always someone out there for you. Now, if you've got that kind of mindset, you won't be getting attached to the outcomes and people. Because you know somebody else is going to appreciate you and love you for who you are as a person and respect you. So that's what it is, going back to the take it or leave it mentality. It's either the person agrees with it or disagrees with it. It's either they connect with you or they don't connect with you. Don't try and force it. Don't try and, try and force a woman to get on the same page as you. None of that works. Women are very good at sensing when a guy is trying to force something. He's trying to force a vibe. Because that's what it is with women. They're very emotionally in tune. They can sense when a guy is trying to put on a front, trying to put on an image, a guy who's trying to impress her, trying to put her on a pedestal. Women can see all of that. Don't think that they can't see that BS. So that's what happens with these guys in these videos. I see these guys, these so-called flipping viz experts, doing their best to try and chat up women. Woman entertains that in a short period, long period, cuts them off. She chucks them to the side of the curb. Because it goes back to it. This person here ain't genuine, he ain't honest, he ain't direct. He's got flipping feminine behavior. So, final point is trust. When you are honest and direct in life, that's what builds trust in a relationship. So you've got, for example, let's say a man and a woman. You've got the man that cheats on a woman. Trust is broken there. She hasn't got that same level of trust in him anymore. And it's vice versa. Let's say a woman cheats on a man. The trust is broken. That's why pretty much those relationships end up deteriorating. So anytime a person cheats on you, so let's say with the guys who are watching this, if your partner cheats on you, just know that's a grave sin. That's it. Cut that relationship off. Talaq, divorce, that's it. Move on. Don't be that type of guy to be a sucker and think, oh yeah, if I stay with her, things are going to work out. It's only going to deteriorate even further. Full emasculation mode. So look at, for example, Will Smith. Look at him. You see how he's in emasculation mode? Just, what's his wife's name? Jaden or something like that? She don't respect him one bit. Treats him as a doormat. You don't want to be that type of guy to be getting flipping violated by a woman. So, let's say you're speaking to a woman at the beginning and you're starting to see how There's certain things that are not quite adding up. She's saying one thing but is doing something else. You need to see that for what it is. Certain times women are just like emotional. Their words are just all over the place. Can't take them seriously. But you need to look at the person's actions. That person's actions. What does that tell you? Because if a person's sincere, they're going to be genuine and they're going to be direct with you. But somebody who's got a lot of red flags, they're trying to cover up certain stuff. That's why with women, for example, a lot of them, they're going to tend to want to text you and just talk to you on the phone. Too scared to meet you in person and actually have real life conversations with you. Because these people here are not authentic. You can't trust these people one bit. Because as soon as you let your guard down, they'll take full advantage of that. So just to wrap up, character. When you develop your character, solidify your character, when you're somebody who's an honest, trustworthy person in society, people are going to want to have relationships with you, both men and women. And then obviously we look at the best example, which is Prophet Muhammad SAW, and how he was nicknamed the most trustworthy, the most truthful person. Even the disbelievers and people who hated him, they acknowledged that this person here was the most trustworthy, the most truthful person. You know, that right there, it shows integrity. It shows class. It shows good morals. Money can't buy that. You know, so that's why you see these jokers, red pill jokers, fornicating. And then these guys, they think that they can just cheat, sleep around with these low quality women and be dishonest. And they think that they're going to get better results. It doesn't work like that. You're only going to attract that bad energy. That's why these people here are not in satisfied relationships. A lot of them are in dissatisfied relationships. Some of them ain't even got any kids. They're like 40, 50 years old. No children, nothing. But you got money, you got a status. What are you going to do with all that money? Flipping, take it to the grave. Can't take nothing to the grave. And the next point after that was genuine. You know, people nowadays, they're not genuine. They're all putting on a facade, a front. If you're putting on a facade and a front, that's the same type of people you're going to get in your life. I'd rather have a couple loyal friends, couple genuine friends who I can go to about personal situations, rather than having flipping 10 people who are fake. You know, so like myself, like I've got a few handful of close friends. Any type of situation happens, or if I need some life advice, they'll tell me, oh yeah, Omar, this is what I think you should do. That right there is more valuable than somebody who's just not sincere. Guy who's got ill intentions. So there's a quote by Muhammad Ali. So I'm going to paraphrase it. About how he said that he prayed to God to remove enemies out of his life. And suddenly he began losing friends. So that's what it is. So when you're doing that, when you're somebody who's asking God to guide you, you're going to be able to remove all the bad people. And then the next point after that was take it or leave it. So having that kind of mindset, take it or leave it mentality. The person either is on the same page as you or is not on the same page as you. It's either you're doing things the right way, or you're doing things the wrong way. There's no in between. For certain people, they like to be on the fence and try and put on an image. So nah. The person either agrees with you, is trying to do things the right way, or if the person is not trying to do that, just move on. You'll save yourself a whole bunch of time, effort, energy. Because working on your purpose each and every single day, that right there is draining in and of itself. And then the final point was trust. So once the trust is gone in a relationship, it's very difficult to get back. That's why certain times with both men and women, when they cheat on each other with someone else, when they have an affair, commit flipping adultery, whatever the case is, you name it, trust is gone. Just that relationship's pretty much finished. And then these same people here, what they do is they stop playing victim, stop blaming the other person. Oh, it was because of you, or you pushed me to this and that. When you're just playing victim and you're not taking accountability for your actions, that right there, you're just a complete loser in life. God doesn't reward that type of behavior. So it's really important. Maintain your honesty. Be somebody who's a trustworthy person, and don't be that type of guy to be putting on the front, because people can see right through that BS. So I hope that makes sense, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.